Okay, now we're at question C, which is to ask us to calculate the consumer surplus. So first question, what is consumer surplus? Well, think about this. If you are willing to buy this pen at, say, $20, now you have a very important document to sign, and it requires a colored pen, and you are in such an urgency, so you're willing to pay 20. You rush to the store and you find this pen only charges $2, only costs $2. So in that transaction, you feel, oh, it is a great deal, right? It's like a robbery to you, right? You wanted to pay 20, but it only charges you 2, so the difference is 18. And 18, which is the difference between what you're willing to pay for this pen versus and the actual market price of this pen, this measures how good this deal is to you. And this, how good this deal is to you, is what we call consumer surplus. It is the psychological gain. It is the potential gain, okay, that you have from your transaction, from this transaction. Does that make sense? So here we need two things. First, willingness to pay. The second, market price. And in question B, we actually solved the market price. In this market, we have universally that every pen is charged as $2. So the question is, what is your willingness to pay? Right? Now, I'd like to further extend your understanding. So in the end of last video, the video of question 1, I give you this equation. Supply curve stands for marginal cost of production, and demand curve stands for marginal benefit of consuming. Okay, then marginal benefit of consuming, that is the benefit, your benefit from consuming each unit of this product, that is also your willingness to pay, maximum willingness to pay. Okay, what does this mean? Say, if I, by using this pen, the satisfaction that I get, the use of this pen values $20 to me, right? Then in the transaction, the highest price that I can accept for this pen, namely the maximum willingness for me to pay for this pen, right, is 20. So marginal benefit is the same as willingness to pay, and it is the price per each level, per each different unit of quantity. Okay? So here then, consumer surplus, according to this, is the difference between willingness to pay per each pen, between willingness to pay of each pen over the price of each pen. But here the price is a fair universal market price. So when you are somewhere here, you think, oh, this pen, you would like to pay 20 for this pen, but this pen only costs $2. So your willingness to pay for that unit, I'm sorry, your surplus for that unit is 18, right? If you're here, you value this pen as $4 and the market price is 2, then your surplus is $2, right? And you're gonna keep going until this point that you are willing to pay 2, and you found this pen charged at 2, right? And if anywhere here in below, the transaction will not take place if you're rational, right? Reason being, oh, you only value this pen as $1, but this pen costs $2. Will you be willing to buy? If you're rational, you will not purchase this, right? So here I explained to you what is the concept of consumer surplus, and the total area of consumer surplus here then is all the difference between the demand, namely the willingness to pay, and the market price. So here, the upper triangle is consumer surplus. So in this question, you're asked to work out the consumer surplus at the market equilibrium. That is to say, you are to calculate the area of this triangle. Okay, here we can utilize some result that we found in B. The market price is $2. The equilibrium quantity is 6. Then we only need to find this point because here we've found the base already, which is 6 for this triangle. Right? Let me use a different color. So this is the base of the triangle, which is 6. And then we need to find the height. Right? So we need to find the height. And here the point that we need is the intercept. Right? The y-intercept of demand here, that is when Q equal to 0, what P is, right? Note here we are looking at the inverse. So here we can utilize the inverse that we found in our first question, right? So those demand and supply are inverse, okay, because we want to find your pricing at any quantity. Okay, so in this case, we're going to utilize PQ which equals to 5 minus Q minus 2. And here the intercept is found as 5. Okay, when Q equal to 0, P is 5. So in this case, consumer surplus equals to half, right? Half base and height. Base multiplied by height. And base is 6, right? And the height is 5 minus 2. So the result is half by 6 by 3, which is 9. So that is your total consumer surplus.